We back.
Yeah!
Malcolm, got two Jubilee videos. The first one is pro-choice versus pro-life. Can they see eye to eye?
Oof, this is gonna get really, 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 really heated.
Because pro-choice is you pretty much can do what you want to with your body, right?
Yeah.
And pro-life is the no abortion people.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, just making sure before we start. Disclaimer. We're not anybody to tell what to do with your bodies.
It's all up to you.
We
women.
just here to listen and see what everybody else thinks. That's just a disclaimer I want to throw out there before we start this video.
Yeah, because we kind of came across this before
This is
with
middle
them.
ground.
This middle ground though, so
Correct. Yeah, it's middle ground. We did one for I can't think of the name of the damn segment, but whichever one is with
the one with the line.
lines,
Yeah,
so that's the one we did last time.
yeah, and that was still kind of heated, but like we couldn't really provide any
Yeah, we
input
couldn't, yeah.
because like we don't
Shit,
birth children.
I wonder if they're gonna have some men here though.
Maybe,
See what they say.
maybe, but I still
I don't
like.
even see how the fuck men protest this shit. Like, my nigga, you can't have a baby. So why does this even, like, this shit ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, let them females handle their own shit. Let the females fight that shit out.
Tell that
Just
to
stand in
our
the background
government.
and make cat sounds. Don't do that. Like, do not voice your opinion. Nigga, your uterus and shit, it has no, you won't even have a uterus.
You, my
nigga.
friend, you have a penis.
Right. Nigga, you don't, nothing here has anything to do with you, my nigga. So
That's why I said tell it to our government. Like,
Yeah.
you got old white dudes debating whether or not what should women do
They
with
not
their
even
body.
debating no more, my nigga. Was it Alabama that just says
Yeah, that shit
it's
wild to
no
me,
abortion
bro.
law, but it's like in some other states too. I can't remember.
Yeah,
which
it's like
ones
a
they
couple
are.
of them southern states. That's like
That's like
fucked up,
one
man.
female on the board and like 50 old ass
Oh,
white dudes, bro. Like, come on, bro.
I was like, only person that should be preside, like making decisions on like female reproductive parts is
It's female.
yeah, like.
Yeah, so
Let's
see. I wonder if they got some man. Of course, it's a Jubilee video, so they're not gonna get as deep as whatever they could possibly get, or they ain't gonna show us at least.
Yeah.
But let's see what they say. I wonder if it's a man here.
I'll be shocked if it's some. Well, more than likely it's gonna be some man in there, probably. But I'll be shocked if it's
starting
just
in
all
3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for another Middle Ground episode.
Be sure to stick around after the episode because we're going to talk about how we make middle ground and also what we've learned from them. Enjoy.
In all our conversations
Yep.
so far,
He's
nobody
been
has
there
brought
before.
up the rights of the fetus person. Doesn't she have the right, the choice
He's
to
been
live?
there before.
But with that being said, that's a cluster of cells that could not, a lot of the time, exist outside of a woman's womb.
I think that's the only dude that's there. Looked like at least.
Yeah, we didn't see the other side.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Oh, you know what I want?
And he's been there before. I've seen him before.
Wow. That's it.
Hi, my name
Yeah,
is
activism
Jolene.
shit.
I am a college student and I'm pro-life.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmerie and I'm pro-life and I talk about these issues on my radio show Trending with Timmerie.
I'm Jason. I'm a YouTuber called Pastor Jason Answers. So yes, I'm a Christian pastor.
My name's Liz. I work in tech and I am pro-choice.
My name is Kimberly. I am a college student and I am pro-choice.
Hey guys, I'm Natalie. I'm a poet, teaching artist, and mental health advocate, and I am pro-choice.
I know someone who's had an abortion.
I guess I'll go first. I have had two myself. The first one, I was not emotionally stable. I was not financially stable. I was about to get evicted from where I was living. My family wouldn't, the list goes on and on. I was on drugs. It wasn't something that I would be able to do nor I wanted to do. And recently I had a miscarriage in which, because it was incomplete, I had to go in for a DNC, which is instant abortion procedure. And at this point in my life, I want to have kids. And so, that experience as well was something that was...
Yo, I never even thought about that. With all this pro-choice, pro-life shit, I never thought, like, if you're fucking, like, if you gotta have a miscarriage.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that shit, like, during all this, like, extra bullshit they be saying and stuff like that. So what the fuck do they want you to do if they're pro-life and you finna have a fucking miscarriage, bro? I never even thought about that.
Yeah,
That's crazy. All right, starting to get a 3, 2, 1. I never thought about
Equally
that.
as difficult for me as the first one that I had to go through voluntarily.
I'm so sorry I went through that experience.
Our church supports WPCC, which is an organization that helps women during pregnancy, after pregnancy, and post-abortion counseling. More than the people that I met there, my mom almost had an abortion because of me. She doesn't tell me the whole story because she doesn't like to talk about it, but her life was in danger and everybody was saying, just abort the baby, which is totally legitimate if the woman's life is in danger, I believe. But I'm actually glad that she didn't abort me, but had the baby anyway.
I was 18 when I got my first abortion. And at that time, I was living with my grandmother. They were very conservative, raised as Catholic Christians. They would probably kick me out of the house if they were to find out I was pregnant. I was still, fresh out of high school, did not have, the monetary needs to raise a child and no place to live, so, yeah.
I have had both friends and extended family members who have had abortions, and I'm sure the two of you can speak to this. It's a decision that you carry with you the rest of your life, and I have seen people 2 years later, and I have seen people 30 years later still struggling with the aftermath of abortion, and that's why I think us women deserve so much more than abortion.
I know several people who have been like on the line, like wanting to, but I don't know anyone who actually went through with the process. I have 2 little brothers, and when my mom was pregnant with the youngest one, he was not planned, and he was, I guess you could say at that time he was an unwanted child. Throughout her pregnancy, she just was thinking of how much of a burden this could be. If my mom did not believe that life begins at conception, then she probably would have gotten an abortion. But my baby brother, well, now he's a little older, he has impacted every single one of our lives in such a positive way that I just could not imagine him not being on this planet. And it really made me think that when life is born, like life is beautiful, and life is so much more beautiful than there not being any life at all.
I think that's sometimes true. There's so many other factors. People who don't have all of those things,
right,
who don't have a family, who don't maybe have a partner, who don't have stable housing. Is that going to be the right circumstance for that child? Is that going to be more damaging? Thinking about the quality of the life that you can provide because you are the caretaker of that being, and if you are not in a position to do that, that is the same as child abuse to me.
And as sad as that is, because that's something we can't ignore, I still believe that that is a life, and it is just as valuable as someone who maybe growing up in a rich family and like have everything and have all these resources. I believe both those lives are equally valuable.
See, I was just going to say, under what you're saying, it sounds like quality of life is what determines whether or not someone should live. And in that case, it's the poor people who are preyed upon to have abortions, and it's the poor people who then spend years struggling with post-abortion syndrome as well.
And so what, with cutting off access to abortion, what solution is that going to provide to those low-income individuals, people who may not be able to have access to health care?
There are crisis pregnancy centers across the nation waiting with the financial means to help women who are facing crisis pregnancy. The reality is when people choose to have their children and they ask for help, let's say family cuts them off, there are other people willing to give help if we ask.
Have you had to receive these kind of benefits before?
No, but I've worked with hundreds upon hundreds of women who have.
So based on my own experience, I'm someone who previously, granted, I don't have children, but I had previously had to be on food stamps. I previously have received unemployment benefits.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything that you can
Hassle.
name. There was a point in my life where I had to be able to get that kind of assistance. And it's not as much money as you think. And a lot of these individuals are still struggling to be able to provide for not only their baby but themselves. And I think it's really unfair to put a woman and this now baby in that situation against their own, against their own will.
Damn, they was talking like a motherfucker. They was talking like a motherfucker. Like I wanted to like keep pausing, but I was waiting on the break. I want to look on those organizations and see like how much actually do they fund or support a woman
I can
like
only,
going through shit like that.
Yeah, because I can only imagine like
or how long do they do it. Like
I know it's hard for people to like get unemployment, food stamps, like any other thing, like medical shit from the government, like all that kind of assistance.
And all that stuff is government assisted, right?
Yeah, all that stuff is government assisted, and they put people through fucking loops to get that shit. And like, so I can only imagine like adding another thing to that, because like it has to be some kind of, you have to qualify for that, because they're not helping billions of people like that.
That's why I'm wondering, like, because she just makes it seem like, okay, she was saying poor. I didn't like that when she was just saying poor people, but low income people, whatever the fuck the case is. All right, so you low income, your family disowns you. No extended family comes to help.
No help.
You on your own with you and the baby. So you telling me there's an organization that pays your rent, light, gas, car,
not to mention food for the baby, food for you,
everything like that. You telling me it's an organization that does this for how much a month and how long? Like I need to see like some numbers.
I need to see numbers. Person.
Yeah, I need to see some numbers. Like I don't believe that like. It's knowing. I
believe there's some organizations out there that help and assist, but not in the fact of like what she's saying.
Like how long and how much?
Yeah, because like at a certain period,
they're gonna either cut you off, or they're gonna cut you off, or they're gonna lower your whatever that you're receiving or something like that.
Yeah,
that's even with food stamps. If you make a certain amount of money, they're gonna lower your income of the food stamps that you get in.
Right. Like with anything.
That's what I'm wondering, because they're talking about like literally a person that has shit. So you're telling me your foundation, whatever foundation it is, you find this person a home, you pay their rent. Say that they don't have any clothes on their back because they got kicked out by whoever, so they have no clothes. The baby has no clothes. They have no food, and on top of the rent that the foundation, whatever, is paying or whatever the fuck that they're doing, you're telling me that this comes with lighting, heating, whatever the fuck, everything that's necessary just for good living conditions.
Not to
minus the food that you have to get for the baby. Not minus the clothes that you have to get for the baby, because remember, you're probably underage. Like the girl on the side right there, she got divorced because she was like under 17 or under 18, whatever the case is, and she knew her parents probably wouldn't have agreed with whatever the case is. So at 16 or 17, I don't know how it is now, but back when we were 16 or 17, it really wasn't legal for us to work a fucking job unless you had permission from your fucking parent to work a fucking job.
You have to like have like a worker's permit. I don't know how the other states are, but that was pretty much how it was here.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's still the same case right now at this time or whatever the case is. Maybe you could work now, whatever the case is, but you need a worker's permit to be signed from your parents and shit like that. So how long are they being supported? Because like that's even like saying like shit like Section 8. That's a fucking lottery pick, bro.
Yeah, like that's that's what I'm saying. Like she's saying, like she said, like their organization helped hundreds of women. That's hundreds of women out of, like, if we want to play with math and shit, probability, like the probability of like 100 people out of what amount of people are gonna be helped with assistance, like
what 1% is that? The 100 people out of, like, that's the thing I don't get, like because I'm not even gonna talk about this pro-life shit or whatever the case is, because that's not our place to talk.
Yeah, we still have.
My mind is fucking blown from these. I just wonder how long and how much are these foundations funding like these females that don't got shit, and then they gotta.
Not to mention,
they probably get a monthly stipend.
Not to mention,
but then
what
you can't work, or it's hard for you to find a job because. You gotta worry about babysitting.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that child care.
You gotta worry about child care. Like, you literally telling me that y'all pay for everything, until this person can probably be of age. So a 15-year-old get pregnant, have a baby, get kicked to the house, all this other shit. So if she can't work till she's 18 years old. Yeah. So you telling me you taking care of this person?
Because I mean, like
with whatever stipend that you giving her until she's fucking 15 to 18 years old, bro. Yeah. Like, come on now, and this is government assisted, like, and nothing is lowered.
Like the government, they got like they got like programs for like assisting people for childcare, but we
I
don't qualify for that. And what it like?
I forgot the fucking name of it.
And like one of the things for me too, like
Kids for Action, I think, or something like that.
That's like bringing up a thing too. What about the people that are like stuck? Like in the middle, like that middle class, because like, like
and then they probably don't go off your
not,
income. They probably go off your parents' income, and they ain't got shit to do with you because your parents done kicked you the fuck out of some shit, bro.
Right, and it's like, okay, what about those middle class like people that aren't like quite yet like on the range of poor, but they nowhere near like rich, being and they just like what about those people? Do those people get assistance? That's why I'm like, where does the spectrum kind of lie at? Like, what's more important? This person that doesn't have anything, or this person that doesn't is just about the same as this person, but only difference is their income is a little bit better than this person. So like, that's why I'm like, I'm like wondering how do these organizations and stuff like pick and like what all do they do? Because
it's
like
a lottery. You're not gonna tell me that it's not a lottery.
Yeah,
you can't just walk. I know for a fact you just can't walk in and say, I have this baby, I'm underage and I've been kicked out. Can you please come take care of me? So next day, just like that, you taken care of. Come on, bro.
I think it's a lot more to that.
Come on, bro. You're not gonna tell me that the government.
That's why I'm saying, like, like I you know how much it's a hassle to like get unemployment. I can only imagine you trying to get childcare, you trying to get food for yourself, you trying to get everything like
in one day, and then the next day you straight. Come on, bro.
Yeah, because like even those things have cutoffs and shit, and like even like you could be kind of middle class and still not be able qualify for any of that shit. Yeah. You could be in the other category too. You could be poor.
They don't even give you your full salary. They give you a half or a quarter of your fucking salary what you would make. They don't give you the full amount of what you would make on a regular 2-week basis or whatever the case is. So that's why I'm knowing for a fact that stipend, whatever the fuck the case is, that these organizations supposedly give, or foundations, whatever the case is, bro, y'all not taking care of people for a long time. I want to see the 15-year-old that y'all took care of till she was 18-year-old or able to fucking work.
Or, like, whatever. Because, like, who's to say...
I want to see the amount that's given to these people, and, like, for how long.
Yeah, because, like
come on, bro.
Because are you doing this shit until they get on their feet? Because then, like, how... Like, nobody knows what's that time period. Because, like, a person could, like, depending on their age and stuff, if they looking for a job, like... It ain't gonna like it ain't gonna fall.
As soon as that job comes, guess what? That job has to come with childcare. So you telling me that you have their rent set up already, you have their childcare set up. So then once they do get a job, whatever the case is, they already got childcare. No, it's no in hell that works that way, because nobody is gonna have childcare before they have a job.
Nope.
You're gonna get a job, then you get childcare. And how long does that take to get approved? So it is what it is though. But the one thing that I never even thought about like miscarriages and shit, like during this whole pro-life,
physical,
pro-choice and all that shit. I never
like
even,
medical lives.
In my head, I just thought about like how the fuck can you have to tell somebody to have a baby and not to have a baby and shit like that. I never even thought about like miscarriage part of that shit. So yeah. Starting in the 3-2.
Men should not be a part of the conversation.
They shouldn't. I don't even know how the fuck do this here.
Word.
I don't care if you're a pastor, preacher, whatever the fuck
it's not a part of a man's body. It's not a life that they are personally bringing into the world. And I don't think that they should be the end-all, be-all to make that choice.
I'm surprised you're the only one that sat down.
Yeah, I am too. I would say it'd be good to have support.
Sometimes, even before I speak a word, I feel judged that you have no say because it's not your body. But I have 2 beautiful kids. What if my wife didn't want kids? What if she had an abortion without my say, without my advice? Doesn't this affect my life too, a lot?
I actually think everyone has to be a part of every conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think men should be the dominant voice in the conversation at all. But I do think that everybody has to work together to create solutions to really large issues. And so, yeah, I think men absolutely have to be a part of it, but not the dominant voice.
The reality is it takes 2 to tango, right? I think we can all agree on that. And the chromosomes come from both the mother and the father. That baby is a part of the father as well.
I mean, I guess I didn't necessarily want to say that men absolutely shouldn't be a part of the conversation. Where I see it is a lot of the individuals who are trying to make these laws right now are men.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there still needs to be a conversation between a couple. I don't think that it's fair for anybody other than the woman having to go through this to make that final decision on what she wants to do with her body.
As a guy, I feel like my statements are more opinions or suggestions, that it doesn't really matter. Thank you for your input, but we really need to make the decision based on what the woman feels. And I feel like I'm more of a second-rate citizen compared to the woman who has to make the real decision.
Yeah, I mean, I find that that's like the one place men feel that way versus women. There's very many instances in our lives where we don't get the first say, and we don't get the last say either.
Yeah.
We're asking people permission to do things with ourselves. And I think for me, that's what's really problematic. When it wasn't legal, people still got abortions and they just died in alleys. And so is that what we're okay with as a society because people don't have access and don't have choices? I'm not okay with that.
Pause. We've been saying this since before we even started the fucking video.
Yeah.
Man ain't got shit to do with shit. We not going through the 9 months, or maybe less than 9 months if you have a fucking preemie baby or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Our bodies aren't changing. Our
bodies aren't equipped to carry a human.
We're not going through different emotions for fucking 9 months. We're not going through morning sickness. We're not going through food.
All I can say is, like I said,
shits or whatever the case is.
Like I said before, we just carry the seeds. Y'all the whole fucking garden.
Right. So,
we just the shit. You just open up and you throw the seed in the dirt. That's it.
That's literally all we do. It's out there. Yeah, we've been saying shit from the jump. Like, man ain't got shit to do with shit.
Yeah, far as like having a conversation, like I'm cool. I'm cool with that. But like making laws and choices and shit, nah.
Yeah. Like, we can have a conversation like, you want to have this. I might have an abortion. Are you sure you want to have this child? Like shit like that. Okay, we could talk. We could talk about a whole bunch of shit, but the final choice is
mainly up to the women.
Yeah. So yeah, that's saying that from the jump. Starting in 3, 2, 1.
I feel as if my rights are in danger.
Yeah, I think a couple of y'all should be moving.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Some of these laws are allowing for non-medical physicians to perform abortions and operate without a medical license. So my right to good quality health care is being diminished, but also my right as, one day wanting to be a parent, parental notification, those laws are being swept away. And so parents who love their children more than the facility workers, or at least should, right? They should be able to talk to their child before they make such a serious decision, and the parents' rights are going away.
But at the end of the day, that's not their choice to make. That's not their body. And so I get where you're coming from like an emotional standpoint, but I believe that an abortion is a medical procedure, and I don't think that anybody else should really be involved other than the person that's having it.
For me, I want women to have the right to make a choice. And there are states that are saying, we will make the choice for you. And that's problematic to me on an equitable level. Attaching jail time and all these things for women, I don't see the same thing happening for men.
That's outrageous,
It's not the women who would be going to jail, it's people who are providing abortions that would be facing criminal charges. So I understand the fear, and I think there's a lot of, could we agree there's a lot of media hype that's creating a lack of communication and a lack of clarity in a lot of areas. And I, as a pro-lifer, do not believe that any woman seeking abortion should face criminal charges.
So heated in conversation, too.
This is me chill.
Well, as an American, I highly value my rights and freedom to do what I want with my body and things like that. These days, I've been reconsidering my views on gun control because, there's mass shootings and innocent people are dying. We have to do something about that. And if I have to step back and give up some rights to own certain guns, I'll consider it because innocent people are dying. And I see it as the same thing with abortion. And in all our conversations so far, nobody has brought up the rights of a fetus person. Doesn't she have the right, the choice to live?
Wow.
But with that being said, that's a cluster of cells that could not, a lot of the time, exist outside of a woman's womb. I guess I'm just going to have to agree to disagree with you on that.
In an ideal world, totally. If there were resources and access and support like we wish there were.
That was a horrible
I'd be
correlation.
like, totally, nobody should have abortions because we have a society that supports people. But we actually don't live in a society where that's true for everyone, and so that's the issue for me.
Let's try, right?
If you don't draw the line at conception, then where's the line? And when I hear people say, oh, like, you don't have the right to choose what to do with my body because it's my body, I feel like I do, because if you were to have a pet animal and it was in your backyard and you beat that thing to death, I feel like we all have moral judgment, and I would stand up for that. It's not my animal and it's not my backyard, it's not my house. I still believe in my moral compass that I should have the right to speak up about it because I genuinely believe that that is wrong. Abortion is killing human life, and so that is why I feel that I have the right to say something about it.
I'm a boss. This is the whole reason men shouldn't be part of this fucking conversation.
My man control having the fucking baby. Compared having the fucking baby to gun laws, bro.
This nigga just said the fetus is John Wick when he come out, bro. I'm so done with this nigga, bro.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is the whole reason that men should not be part of this conversation. I guess we spoke about how we feel about these fucking laws or whatever the case is.
Yeah, they fucking ridiculous. Like, what she was saying, she's like,
yeah, she's wrong.
Of course there's hype with media with anything, but she's fucking wrong with the law. Like,
yeah,
they giving people that not only the fucking physicians, the doctors, but they giving the people who get the abortions jail time too. Like,
hold on. I'm about to pull this up right now.
Like, we had three different stories, bruh. It was three different stories. Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast. It was three different stories. Like, they was about to get this one chick time because she was pregnant, and her and I guess some other female had a disagreement, and the other female shot her.
And they said something about like across the state lines or some shit like that.
Yeah, they dropped the charges of the person that shot her. Yeah, they dropped, like, they didn't charge her with like the death penalty for killing the like kid, the fetus, but they charged the mother for child endangerment, and they were gonna give her jail time for it. And there was like a lot of like, I guess, media outlets covering it and everything, like how ridiculous, like, because of that, like, law and like how ridiculous that situation sound. And I think they ended up like going back on that, but like if it wasn't no coverage or whatever for that particular story, that person would probably be locked up. Yeah, like that shit is wild to me.
They're not showing, because whenever that shit got announced for Alabama, they had a picture up on the news thing, and they had like little bullet points, whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. They was saying who gets jail time and like shit, whatever.
Who gets like most? Yeah.
And I was looking for it, but I can't fucking find it now.
Yeah, they get the person that gets it done, because like you can't go like those laws is fucking ridiculous, bro. If you were to go across state lines and get the procedure done, and you come back and they find out that you had an abortion, you could be punished like for jail time for that. It was like fucking like.
It was a picture. I can't fucking find the picture though, but she's not correct though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, she's not correct. I wish I could find the fucking picture, but I can't fucking find it, bro. But yeah, I don't know. That shit just fucking stupid. That dude just needs to shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
That was the worst fucking comparison in the fucking world. I'm starting to get into 3, 2, 1.
The responsibility of pregnancy prevention is currently equal between men and women.
Well, that's been from the start of fucking time, though. It's just safe sex.
Other than in cases of rape or incest, I believe that pregnancy prevention is equal because we enter into sexual intimacy both willingly.
Yeah, I agree with that. It takes two people to make those choices, whether it's abstinence, whether it's using contraceptives.
Consent is what I think where prevention starts.
So what about rape?
Okay, I'll admit it. As a guy, it is easier for us. I mean, even if there is a birth control pill, culturally today, we're not taking that. We're not gonna snip, and you know, it's easier, sorry.
No, I agree. They always push it towards women if you don't want to get pregnant. Yes, there are condoms out there for men to prevent pregnancy. However, it's not, nobody wears it. Yeah, that's true.
In my
I won't say nobody. Some people
right.
In my
But I
experience,
understand that, yes.
men don't want to.
Right.
And they've also tried to come up with, you know, various different birth control methods for men.
Like, no way.
No, and
They
that's
don't
the
want it.
overwhelming response. There's so many side effects. There's the possibility of this and that. And, you know, I've had a friend that had a stroke because of her birth control. You know, and I think that it's really unfair that that responsibility is solely being placed on women.
Well, and also if it's gonna be solely on me to prevent, then it is solely on me to make a choice thereafter.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying, but these conversations need to be said before any action is done for both people to understand that they are both responsible for this.
I agree with you. And one of the things that I always think about in the conversation of abortion is education, right? And the education around our bodies, or just consent, right? Or just rape. All of these things are not conversations that are widely happening. I think about my own experience of sex ed in high school was taught by the gym teacher who was also teaching us driver's training.
Little
right?
funding there.
And so I think about what was the quality of the educational experience I got, and typically in my partnerships, I am the first person that my partner has encountered that is willing and able to have a conversation about sex, about birth control, about all of these things. So it's interesting that we're like, we should be having these conversations, but people don't have the emotional intelligence to be having these conversations, or the emotional immaturity, which is unfortunate, but it's the reality, right? And so it does leave the onus on the person who is gonna be most impacted, which in this case would be women.
Someone.
Yeah, I'm still like, where's, because like what they were saying before the pro, like, I'm like, where's rape included in it? They was like, oh.
She was saying that except for rape and, whatever the fuck she said.
Incest.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I was like, okay, like, so he's like, except for these minor two things, but like.
Nobody else
like,
upon it and said
you should, you should. I don't know, man. It just like what she was how she
that's
kind of
common sense,
presented.
though. That's common sense. Like if it's not even because incest probably don't even got shit to do with shit. Because if it's incest or some shit like that, they probably consented to that shit too at the same fucking time. The only thing somebody probably didn't consent to is fucking rape, obviously. But that's common fucking sense. Like if we have a conversation about sex before we have sex, about we taking precautions, whatever the case is,
right?
That's common fucking sense.
Yeah.
Like, other than rape, because incest happens, how the fucking incest happens, I don't know shit.
Yeah,
about
I mean, although incest
some agree,
or
some, but if they don't agree, that's obviously fucking rape. But every precaution is taken, or can be taken, or people of knowing of taking that precaution before having sex. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of common sense, or whatever the case is. That question was kind of common sense, other than like this rape. So yeah. Starting again at 3, 2, 1.
From the other side sincerely tried to empathize with me.
Yeah.
They're doing it now.
You, Timmery, have empathized with me the most. Thank you for just understanding me and then just, throwing your insight out there.
Yeah, Natalie, I really appreciated how you were able to understand each different situation and circumstance and be able to agree to disagree with everything that's being said.
I think that this is how real conversations usually occur, and it shows people that we don't have to avoid a topic. And so thanks for listening and thanks for sharing. And I have to tell the two of you, I'm sorry on behalf of any person who's pro-life who has ever made you feel criminalized for having had an abortion, and I do not believe that anyone should face jail time for having had an abortion. I understand your circumstances, and I want you to know that. The dude.
Feel bad. I feel like I picked on you too.
Guess that was the odd man out. But I believe in women's rights, equal pay for equal work. There should be more representation in government. My big thing is that the fetus is not just a blob of tissue, it's a real person, a him or a her. And maybe I didn't get that across for you to grasp that on my perspective.
I hope that it didn't come across that we are not empathetic, because I know for sure I was really trying to listen to you and trying to find a commonality. I was actually like, oh, interesting. Okay, you think this and what and why? Like, I think those things are super valuable, to not have the same perspective, but still be able to find spaces to align, because that's where the real work is, not us all agreeing.
Right.
But still, there are some basic things we want for humans and women, and so if that's true, then we all have to do some sort of work and some sort of bending in places to make that be true.
My only thing is, still, his ass shouldn't have been there. I never had a conversation with a pro-life or a pro-choice person. I don't get that deep into conversations with people. Especially, I'm not like around like shit like that. You're not gonna see me on the picket lines, because honestly, shouldn't be no men out there unless he's supporting
I support
his
people,
woman.
on their beliefs.
Yeah, but other than that, like, I've never had that conversation with her as a person. And I'm especially not gonna have it with a woman, on either what side that she's on. Like, either side that she's on, because I guess it do with me.
Yeah, in general life, I've had, I guess, conversations with like different people, like different women, like in general, about like just like friends, like wanting to like hear like I guess my opinion or whatever, and I normally tell them, I'm like, literally, my opinion is shit. Right. Like, you're the one that's kind of going through it, right? like I'm trying to like I guess help them feel better about the situation or something. Like, I'm like literally telling them, like, I can't really like make that decision for you, and I was like, it sucks that like our world is like consumed by like, you know, men making laws about like your body part or whatever. So like I can't really do anything other than like I guess support whatever the hell you're doing.
You just like the agreeable husband. Yes, honey. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want. Whatever you say. Yep.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of friends that have like come around like situations like that where they had to like they honestly thought about like doing it or whatever for like a whole lot of reasons, like from A to Z, every fucking thing that you can think of under the sun, and like I like
you just stuck saying.
Yeah, I'm like I can't really like I can't really like
I'll sit here and listen to what you have to say.
Right,
But
I'll listen.
Don't ask me what my choice.
Like I can't provide the answer that you're looking for.
I choose D. All the above. Like whatever.
He's like whatever makes you feel better. Like about the situation itself. Like all I can do is just sit there and listen, and I can just tell you like whatever decision you make is the right one for you. Yeah, but not. I guess I haven't like come across it in like my personal life or anything like that. Like far as like me having to deal with that. Like, but that's about as close as like I ever had to like come or talk to somebody about like I guess that, because like, you know, people feel a certain way with certain things, and like normally it's like either like household religion or other things like involved with that, where they just feel like their world is like just
falling
getting
down on them.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. Literally.
Yeah.
Only imagine. Only. That's the only thing you can do. So let's get the rest of these couple minutes up out of here. Start again. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Julie.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you. It was nice to meet you.
Hey everybody, thank you for watching another episode of Middle Ground. My name is Erin and this is Dan, and we are both Jubilee directors.
So you've directed a lot on Middle Ground. What is something that you've learned having done all that?
I think the biggest thing for my own self-growth is it's made me aware of where my ignorance is. Like, this has forced me to really sit down and hear opinions that I have shut out more often than not. And it's made me have to confront that and grow from that and be more open.
Yeah, I think once you hear it come from another human being, you have to see the human being coming with that opinion.
Yeah. Well, if you guys have any thoughts on what you've learned from Middle Ground, please comment below.
If you like this, be sure to follow us on Instagram. That's where you're gonna find out a lot more of what's coming up next in our videos, as well as behind the scenes stuff with us. And we'd love to get to know you there. So, see you then.
I want to know how this screening process is for, like, how they pick people out. Because, like, sometimes they don't get, like...
They probably keep a good list of people that's probably been on there, because dude's been on there before.
Yeah, because, like, I don't, like... Not to say, like, I like to see the world burn and stuff, but, like, most of the time, like, they don't really, like, have those controversial people on there. Like the extremists. One. I think
it was with the voters or something like that, or what the fuck?
It was like Republican, Republican, Democrat thing.
They were kind of going at it like head to head, but like that was like the only real time that video that we've seen, like either in Middle Ground or what the fuck is this one called? Middle Ground Spectrum. That's really the only one that they really went like head to head, like for the most part.
Yeah, because this Spectrum, sometimes we see it. They like when they like
a little bit, but they switch lines and shit, and then people change their minds and shit like that. So.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering like how they process it. Like they do get nice, genuine people and stuff. Because like even though like the lady like we weren't agreeing with what she was saying, the one from that organization or whatever, but like she like. Sounded pretty nice and caring.
A lot of her shit was like more emotional though too. Like every time she talked, a lot of her emotions were in it.
Yeah, from helping people or whatever. So, but
I guess it's just like everything else, bro. Like sometimes it's a good bunch, and sometimes it's like one rotten apple that makes everybody else look like shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and that's pretty much with every fucking thing. So.
No, I'm just like this, cause like I just don't like believe that. Everything is nice and rainbows and shit. Yeah. So like,
that's what I was saying about like, that funding shit. That funding shit don't sound right to me.
Right, because like, although she seemed like a nice person and stuff, I like if she was one of those people that was like really strong, she would just be buttoned. Yeah. Like all the way.
Seen that because we even seen that with
we seen that with the fucking the other game with the vegans
with the lights when they just on motherfuckers' ass
that girl was like motherfuckers asses like no you're not a real vegan because you don't do this that and that third and it's like calm down. Right it's like
calm down we never seen nobody like do like that on,
like
other two, whatever case
I'm just curious because like I just want the conversation to be really effective because like those are the people that you kind of need, the people that don't want to like listen like that. So I was just wondering.